Hey guys, it's Adam. So this is not revisited. It's just being my review of using the iPhone 15 Pro Max as my daily for the past couple of weeks now, close to a month. And initially when this phone came out, there were reports, a lot of stuff floating around online that this phone was broken temperature-wise. Apple claimed that it was the third-party app's fault for keeping that temperature up. And now there is a new iOS update, 17. E03, which I've upgraded to. In my opinion, since I've been using it, I actually haven't had a problem with any of the temperatures, so I didn't really notice any overheating. And for the rest of the use, my experience has been, pretty Apple-esque. It's been great for a new flagship, so the Pros come in the two different sizes here. So we have the 15 Pro Max, which this review will kind of focus on, obviously the 15 Pro, so 6.1 versus a 6.7 inches. The big reason for going to the Pro models is for that extra battery life for me. Obviously, having a larger screen is nice. And something new to the Pro models, or the Pro Max models, the telephoto is 5x optical, so that's 120 mil, focal length equivalent. And that's just because of the larger, size of the actual device. So those are the two options. And the last difference being the 15 Pro Max is 256 base storage, whereas the 15 Pro is 128. So those are the big differences between them. Obviously, the color is a super subjective, but I do think the natural titanium is the winner here. The titanium is around. The outside, that's obviously the banding. They've switched from stainless steel. It's slightly lighter. You won't notice the difference. It still collects fingerprints. This one is a bit more matte, but the gray backing is what I like. Most people rock skins or cases on them, so I was using the fine woven case from Apple. It replaces their leather one. It's a straight-up pass. I think it's one of the worst accessories Apple has made. It just picks up too much lint, too much debris, it scratches, it's got weird rubber sidings. I think Apple should either improve it or bring out a vegan leather, some sort of other option. So the case I've been rocking is actually this one from Spec. It's the Presidio 2. So it comes in two different options. You can either get it with the smooth back or the grip case. If you're someone that's notorious for dropping your phone, it's just easier to kind of hold on to. It's got some pretty great protection on the inside and especially on the corners, which is the typical drop point. And it has another cool system called Click Lock. So obviously all iPhones have MagSafe. It's that little magnet on the back so you can snap on accessories. So typically with MagSafe, it'll just click into place. It still can move around. But with Click Lock, that actually lines up. There's a small little click, and now that wallet is super secure. That isn't going anywhere. And that's super handy. Obviously, you don't want your wallet with your credit cards, with your ID, to go flying anywhere. They've got a mounting system for within the car, which I've been using. Same kind of thing. There's that slight little click, and now this is super secure, and the only way that this is coming off is an intentional pull to deactivate the magnet. Not by accidentally kind of like hitting it to the side, which obviously happens quite a bit. The cases are made of 50% recycled plastics, and it also has built-in antimicrobial treatment from microbands. So that gives 99% reduction in stain and odor, causing bacteria on the case. So when you compare this to, say, the fine woven case from Apple that scratches, that collects stuff on it, that doesn't just hold up over time. I've been super happy with these and would definitely recommend them to accessories or people looking for accessories for their new Pro Max flipping around to the front of the display. So 6.7 inches, the bezels are slightly thinner, which I'm a huge fan of, so it feels nice, quick, and snappy, slightly brighter at 2000 nits, and compared to the Pixel 8 Pro, which now has the brightest smartphone display, which is 2400 nits. You're really comparing a nit brightness if that's your thing, but it's super bright if you're in direct sunlight. It's still easy to use. Still has Dynamic Island, which is now a year old. I still prefer the small hole punch cutout of Android phones, but that's obviously personal preference. And I would say a lot of the aesthetic upgrades are honestly tied to iOS 17. So a lot has changed visually, so a lot of the animations are a bit different. You've got updated and interactive widgets, you have new updated contact wallpapers, and you have cool things like Name Drop, where you bring two devices side by side and you can share contact info. Once again, that isn't tied to the new 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max. That's more of an iOS update, but this is the first device to ship with that in body. But if you have an older device, you obviously have access to that. And for the rest of the performance, so it's rocking the new A17 Pro chip. It's the first 3-nanometer chip, so they've moved away from the A16 Bionic name. It now has a Pro chip inside. But now, with this new chip, playing AAA title games, like you could play console-worthy level games on a smartphone. So this thing is literally like a computer in your pocket. It's probably the most powerful chip on a smartphone. Will most people realize that? For your standard texting, for scrolling through social media, for your endless hours of loop on TikTok. The last of the physical changes, so obviously upgrading to USB-C. It's not really upgrading, they finally made the jump. So it does help with, obviously, charging times. It's now just one cable across all of my tech. Finally, for the 15 Pro models, it's a faster USB-C port, so you can actually connect this to extra peripherals, like a little hard drive. Now that brings me to, I guess, photo and video performance, which I think is the most important thing. So 48 megapixel main, slightly tweaked. It's the same sensor, but slightly better than before than the 14 Pro Max. And with those new sensors, you technically now have access to 7 different focal ranges. So you have the macro option, then you have ultra-wide within the 1x. If you actually click that, you get 28 mils, 35 as well as the standard at 24. So those 3 options, you've got the 2x and now, of course, 5x optical zoom. So in the end, is the 15 Pro Max worth it? Most people will rock a case on it, so you won't get to feel the nice titanium. I think the battery life on the Pro models is better than the smaller 15 Pro, but you also have the 15 Plus, which is kind of the one that I would still recommend to most people. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed my pretty comprehensive review. I will catch the rest of you in one of my next episodes. Peace.